So, the last time we really properly changed the show, we've done tweaks and things since then, but we haven't done anything completely new. But the last time we did it was like to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Bad, which was like 2016, I think. And we upgraded the theatre show, mostly for the main concert version of the show, where we put in more from the Bad album, and as always, put our little unique spin on some of it. And with those additions, the show has been so good. Obviously, I'm biased, but I'm also very constructively critical of what we do. But it has had such a good flow and feel, and it's felt just the right length, that we haven't really had to do too much with it. We've done tweaks, like I said, we've changed some of the screen content, we've changed bits, like the way certain songs introduce and start, mostly to allow other things to happen around at that moment, so nothing feels empty when something else is happening. It's almost like a distraction while say a costume change is happening, or something else is being prepped or sorted. And some of it is also just to really build that vibe and that sort of scenery for the next song. Yeah. But we haven't really done anything completely new for 10 years by the time we start doing this. And it was like, this year we've had probably two of the biggest contracts we've ever had, with the Finland tour and the Sweden tour. And they went so well, so great, and everything's in the pipeline at the moment for us to hopefully go and do these things again, and more so. And it was kind of like we were sat down, and I'd been saying it on and off, we're going to need to change some bits for the whole of this year. Up until that point, this was May by now, and I've been saying we need to do some different things, because if we are going to come back and do these things again, I want to not only just up the level a little bit in places, but for people that are buying tickets to come and see us again, yes, we could just put the same show on. They've only seen it once, and it was a year ago at least. But let's try and just keep them on their toes, keep them guessing, and tweak some stuff whilst also introducing some completely new stuff. So that was why we had to do it. And me and Lee, who's the music director, he's very, very good, sat down for a good 3 hours plus in the build up to a show in Sweden, and talked about what do we want to do, because it stems from what we're going to do musically, what songs we're going to do and what we're going to do with those songs. And then it's a case of, once that's created with everybody else's input, especially from a choreography point of view, then that's done. Now we've got to think about how that works for this. Now we've got to think about what the screen's going to do for this. What about the costuming? There's just so much that goes into each one, but we've worked it all out, and it's very, very exciting.
Very exciting. Okay, so can you actually now share what fans can expect from these new additions next year?
No. Not completely, because I want it to be a surprise. Sure. But let's skate around the edges of what we're going to be doing. So I can confirm the way the show starts is completely brand new. What they've seen for the last 10 years has been shelved, and how we start our show now is completely brand new. And I don't just mean the introduction, I mean what happens after the introduction as our opening songs. That's all I'm saying on that. But it is massive, it will feel huge and grand, and you'll hear things that I don't think you'll hear anybody else doing. And I don't necessarily mean the song choices, but as always with us, how those songs are being done.
When you say they're different, we make them different, in what ways do we make them different?
Over the last year, especially, I've been contemplating for a while before this year, what makes our show unique? What is our show, and what is its unique selling point over any other Michael Jackson show. Because as much as we're all massive fans, and all of us are fans of Michael Jackson, whether we're big fans like myself, who's grown up and been a fan of his music specifically and him, or whether we're just fans of what he's done for this industry, we're all got an appreciation towards him. But also, this is a business for us, and we have to think about how our show is different and what our show offers that others don't. And I've always been thinking about it, and this year I really managed to, I think, put my finger on it, in that we are a Michael Jackson concert, and that's what all the others are to an extent. What we are doing that others aren't, I think, is that we give it a West End sheen. We give it more of a West End vibe, in that we are very focused on the production elements, the look, the lighting, the costuming, the choreography. And then on top of that, and I think this is probably the most important part, is that we are doing it both Michael's way, but with a touch of our way. And I think because there are so many other shows, both big and small, all very much trying to exactly replicate what Michael Jackson did. And that's fantastic. And they do it well. A lot of them do it very well, and hats off to them. But rather than just be another show doing that, for us, for me, and I think everybody involved, it's very much, let's put our little bit of touch in there, our little element, our mind in there, our sort of stamp on it. So it's more, there's an element of, it's Michael Jackson's concert. I'd say it's 80% that. But there's a 20% of, and a mishmash of, how would Michael do it today if he had our budget?
Yeah.
And how would we do it as well? That makes it unique. So for instance, one of the new elements, I'm not going to tell everything, so you're not going out of me, you've got to come and see it, is what we do with Billie Jean next year. And you're already grinning about it because it's so exciting. What we do with the start and how we do Billie Jean, no one has ever seen before. No one has ever done it like that. There's elements of how Michael does it, and therefore there's elements because of that of how others do it, but they're not doing it the way we do it.
I agree with that.
And that's the same throughout all the other little tweaks that we've done in the show, whether we've just tweaked a tiny bit, like for instance, how we finish Earth Song has slightly changed. It's minimal. You might not notice unless you've seen our show lots of times, but it's something that makes us go, that just feels more like MJ.
Yeah.
Or it's a tweak like how we're doing the end of how we're going to finish The Way You Make Me Feel.
Yes.
And the reason we're doing that is more from a production purpose, because it's, okay, we need that time to do what we need to do off stage with a costume change, with maybe an element of set or whatever, but we don't want it to feel like that's why we're doing it. So how do we do this? So we're doing what we're doing with the end of The Way You Make Me Feel because we need to, but also because it will still feel different.
Yes.
And that's very much the way that's ending. It's got a real Michael Jackson vibe, a more current Michael Jackson vibe, shall we say. Yeah. But then there's elements where, like I said, with the introduction and what we're doing with that, that is both very much Michael Jackson, very much us, and very much West End, I think. So there's a lot going into the new editions. Can't wait to start. Like, I mean, and this has been a long time process. We're probably changing, all in all, 30% of the show.
Yeah.
And by that, I don't mean completely all new songs, just bits and pieces of how certain things happen in certain songs, but with a whole new intro, a couple of new songs, and quite a big change at the start of a song, and then in a few other songs, tiny little tweaks and additions. Coming up, we've slightly changed the middle section of Beat It. The way we were doing it before was we had the guitar solo happening at the same time that the choreography was happening for the fight scene. And it was very much like, that's fine, We can do that. But I think both needs to have its moment. And MJ did it so that both had its moment. So that's where we've tweaked it to make it more like Michael's live version of Beat It. So that we've tweaked that so that the guitar solo happens. Then we have a bit of a breakdown and then we go into the dance section. So that has that vibe. So it's little tweaks like that. There's other things as well. So, for instance, I could tell you about an old tweak, for instance, when we wanted to make more of Thriller. We got invited to do something shortly after COVID for Halloween that, funny enough, didn't happen. But we spent time putting the stuff together for it to do a big version. They wanted like a 15-minute version of Thriller. I was like, I can't do Thriller for 15 minutes. No one can do Thriller for 15 minutes and keep it, other than Michael Jackson, that is, and keep it so that people have to keep watching and it's amazing, not without ridiculous amounts of money and production. So I was like, okay, well, let's just make the intro different and bigger. Now, our intro, nobody does it our way. I hope they aren't, because otherwise they're ripping us off. But again, Lee's input, it's Lee's magic that's made that happen. But then we're always, with all this new stuff, the process that has been, and it's been the entirety of this year, certainly at least the last 6 to 8 months. And it will continue right the way through December. Like, I'm literally with Lee tomorrow. Yep. It will continue. We've got rehearsals planned for January. And then there'll be a case of starting to get it into the show. But the whole process for these new things is get the body of the music together, look at it from multiple angles, from multiple opinions, should I say. So from a dancer point of view, what's happening with the choreography, and then once the choreography's done, what can we do with the music that accents that more? From a lighting point of view, when should the lighting come in? Is there things that can be added to the music that expresses what happens to the lighting even more? And then from a screen point of view, so a production, how does the screen enhance this rather than it just be a case of there's a screen there with something on? How does this bring something further to it? So that at all times, the whole thing feels like one thing rather than just several things happening all at once that don't really connect or intertwine. And that's always the process now. I never say me when I talk about the show, I always say we, because it has been a collaboration of multiple people who all are exceptional in what they do. I mean, from Lee as a music director who, my God, we're so lucky to have him. So genuinely lucky to have someone who is as good as Lee, who is as talented, experienced as he is, and has this incredible mind and vision that always blows my ideas out the water. I go to Lee, I've got this idea for Billie Jean. What if we did this and then this? And he goes, oh yeah, I'll have a look at that. And then he comes back to me a week, 2 weeks, whatever it is, sometimes just a few hours if he's got the time, and he'll go, I might have over-egged it. I've done this. What do you think? And then I listen and go, oh, that's so much better than what I came up with. And that is almost always how it works. Yeah. But then we're so lucky with yourself as a choreographer. The stuff you put into the show whitewashes everything else that's out there. That is genuinely incredible. We are truly lucky to have people like Richard who genuinely have an enthusiasm towards what they do and how they do it. Even Jim on the sound, he's always thinking of, like for Halloween this year, he's like, I'm going to bring in a few more layers of this and that for Thriller. And I'm just like, I don't even have to ask you to do these things. You all just bring it to this. And I'm so lucky, I'm so humble that I have this wonderful crew, this little family that are also mentally invested in making this good because they enjoy it, I think. I believe that's the case. They enjoy doing what they're doing. And why would I come in and tell you guys how to do what you do? I've never understood people that come in and want to micromanage talented people. If you're bringing somebody in who's good at it, at what they do, let them do it. Why are you bringing them in otherwise? Let them make your life easy, as well as show what they're capable of doing.
Yeah.
When people get to do what they want to do and do it to the best of their ability, they will do it better.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
so I'm lucky. I'm truly lucky. Yeah, it's not just all the entire current people. We've had lots of people and depths as well that step in. We're lucky to have the people that will step in when we need them to come and do this. And the other thing is as well, which has always been so paramount, everybody's lovely. Everybody gets it, understands how to be on and off stage, understands our sense of humour, our sort of camaraderie, and fits in. And even to the newest people like Neil, who's just stepped in with us on bass. I mean, he did a couple of shows maybe 10 years ago, and he's come back in and he's done loads since. And he just immediately slots in as if he's never not been there, as if he's never not been part of the family. So we're really, really lucky, privileged to have such wonderful people who also happen to be incredibly talented at what they do. And long may that continue, please.
Yes.
We are hoping, and I say hoping because you never know what's going to get thrown in the works. Anything could happen. And I think we have to always have that mindset that sometimes it doesn't always go to plan. But we are hoping to have things up and running for the very first time by February.
Okay, so not long to wait.
You just pooed your pants a
I
bit
did.
then, didn't you? I saw you wince. You were like, that's what we're hoping for. Don't hold me to it.
Yeah.
That's what we're hoping for.
Are you planning on rolling out all of the new stuff in one go, or piece by piece, in your mind?
I think it will be all of it, for the simple reason, a couple of reasons actually. One, we need to see how it gels, and you can't just do one bit and not the other, because some of it needs those things to happen to flow.
Yeah.
I think also from a rehearsal and cost point of view, it's easier to try and have it all done together, as we've been discussing quite heavily. So I'm hoping, yes, that come February, as long as everything goes to plan and the stars align and everybody's time that needs to be put into this is possible, then hopefully February. The vast majority, at least, I think will be up and running by February.
February 2026. Here it comes.
February 2029, coming straight at you.
We hope February. If you had to say it in one sentence, how do these new elements elevate FJ above anything you've done before?
I mean, it's kind of like just bigger and better. It makes it sound like what we do isn't good enough already. I'm very aware what we do is good enough, and it's good. And we could just sit on our laurels and go, this is great, this is fine. And people do still come and see what we do. But what we do next year, it is genuinely bigger. It's the next level, probably like that. If you can think of what would be the next level for this show, it's that. It's the production element of it. It's the sound of it. And I really want to focus on the sound of it alone, because that's all we've really got to go on at the moment, where everything else, I mean, we've seen bits of everything else, but the sound, thanks to Lee, has kind of been there for a while now, a few months. And it's that you listen to what we do and you go, this is good. And then you listen to what we're gonna do and you go, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's gonna be hard not to completely ruin myself on that first gig because the energy in the new material, the power, and I think that the other thing is, and there is a slightly scary element to it because it's also, we haven't done anything completely new for 10 years. Crap, I've got to learn choreography. I've got to remember lyrics. I forgot about that bit. And so far, I've just been listening to this music and going, oh, can't wait. And now it's like, you got to learn stuff soon. Okay. So But yeah, it is. It's to describe it in a sentence. It is the next level for this show. It really, really is.
But could you give them a clue?
I'll do one better. Our opening number will be Jam. But what happens after Jam for the opening number is both one of my favourite songs of all time and done in my most favourite way of all time that I've ever seen it or heard it. And that's all I'm saying. That's all you're getting. You got to come and see it, okay?